Preppers Podcast. Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers Podcast, the only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment. We are your hosts, Cameron and Kobe, and we are ready to bring survival goodness direct to your dirty little ear holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the election.
Let's do it.
This is all about the election.
It's not at all about
we're going to
the
go
election.
back to old roots.
We're going to, what are we talking about? What are we going to do?
Well, we mentioned a lot about prepper habits.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about those prepper habits.
Yeah.
Which ones you should have.
To
continue being a prepper.
Exactly. We'll talk about it a little more, but we're excited about it. Before we get into that, I don't know if you know this, but most subscription boxes are full of samples and junk you'll never use, but not Battle Box. It's the monthly subscription box for men, full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and casual preppers. Each month, BattleBox sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here is a sampling of what users received this month, and we have this box here. We're going to talk about it later. The Pure Pollination Heirloom Vegetable Seed Variety Pack. You can't beat some heirloom seeds.
No.
You know, you can't do it. I mean, you could, but these are really good.
You can beat them into a pulp.
You could. Or they have the Solo Stove Light. It's a really cool personal little stove that almost acts as like a rocket stove type thing. Pretty cool. Yeah. Get you to freaking Venus in no time flat. All this badassness starts at about $30 a month. They've shipped almost 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2017. Our listeners get a free tactical knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. That is trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
Did you say free knife?
Nah, I did.
I like that.
Yeah, it's hard to pass up, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
Ain't it?
Don't pass it up.
Nope. You want to take this? Do it.
These guys are incredible. Incredible. Dearest casual preppers, you guys saved my life and ran off my future wife, and for that I thank you. She left when I told her I spent the engagement ring money on tactical geese. All jokes aside, you guys have a very informative podcast, and it's a great listen. Not some of those douche type guys. Just your average Joes who don't make it seem so daunting or scary, and for that I thank.
You. I think he wanted to say you.
He wanted to. I didn't read it wrong.
No.
He wrote it wrong.
Yes.
Keep up the good work, guys, and keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Thank you. This one was from iTunes, I believe. So
Yeah,
thank
that
you.
was awesome.
If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, go to the Kindle book on Amazon. Leave us a 5-star review. That's 5. And make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
So there's so much going on in the world today.
Yeah.
That it's hard to pick. But I figured since this hurricane just hit like yesterday or today or
a good
something,
one.
let's talk about it. Hurricane Sally. Oh, Sally. Doesn't even sound
Hey,
scary at all.
Sally.
Sally.
Oh, that's just Sally.
Don't
Coming
Sally.
on in off the coast.
Okay, get on in here, Sally. Come sit down.
We're ready for you.
We're ready for you.
We got a pass for you from the old one.
But they weren't really ready. 30 inches of rain in Florida. Do you know how many inches 30 is?
No, because we get 0.
We get 0. But it's a lot of rain, and therefore a lot of flooding, and so it's been bad. There's been a couple people who've even died in this, which is
Already?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Bad deal. And over 500,000 people are without power. That's 500,000 people,
Yeah.
Cameron. It's actually more than that. That's just the households that are out of power. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's insane. The rivers in Alabama are continuing to rise with all the rain. Category 2 hurricane, 105 miles an hour, the wind. It's a bad deal.
Crazy.
So
Gets deep in there.
and apparently there's like 3 or 4 of these things still brewing out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you had some McDonald's like noon and like 2 o'clock. You can feel that. You know what I mean?
brewing
Just
again.
brewing.
I thought I passed all
I
this.
thought this was over. No, it's not over. There's 2 or 3 more
It
coming.
blows my mind just how many just
Yeah.
kick up after the other ones.
It's crazy. So you guys down there, you're crazy for living there, for one thing.
You are.
But you got to be careful.
You should totally be preppers.
You should.
We're recommending it.
Well, I'll recommend that right now. Be a prepper if you live in Florida.
That's good. That's good. I was going to talk about this new weird China bacteria that's coming, but you know what? Let's not worry about any diseases right now.
Okay, great.
I wanted to tell you this story.
Okay.
This dentist that extracted a tooth on a hoverboard.
What?
He's now sentenced to 12 years in prison.
Just for doing it on a hoverboard?
He's been doing all kinds of weird crap. And I say this because dentists are all shady.
They are shady people, aren't they?
They charge too much and they're shady.
There's probably dentists listening
But
going,
it
oh,
said-
come on, guys.
I know. Come on.
I'll fix
right in the
the
middle of a
teeth.
drill. Oh, come on. The last time I
it was
listened to
fine.
this crap. An Alaska dentist who extracted a patient's tooth while riding on a hoverboard. And there you have it.
Wait,
dentists can't afford, I mean, they can afford everything.
Was the dentist on a hoverboard
The
or was
dentist.
the patient?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's see if I can get
Pretty
this done.
sure it was the dentist.
Okay.
Has been sentenced to 12 years behind bars for that
Jeez.
stunt and other wheelie bad crimes.
Wheelie bad. That's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways,
What?
you can't trust anybody.
What's
these
the
days.
point?
Of
I
he's
mean,
been doing all kinds of weird
Well,
crap.
it's too easy to do it on solid ground.
I'm
Is that what he's saying?
gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
Why do you think you do it? All the other stupid reasons everybody's a moron now.
Trying to- on TikTok.
Social media.
TikTok.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, it's a madman world because of social media. The end.
Maybe you should do a podcast on a hoverboard, like the entire podcast.
If somebody sent me one, I'd do it.
Okay, we'll see if we can get someone to send you one then.
Yeah. Charge it up.
Yeah.
That's tip number one. Keep your hoverboard charged.
Keep her charged. That's a good habit. So we're talking about prepper habits today, and we decided to do this because sometimes when you look at prepping, it can be there's so much to do. And one way to make it easier is just to make some of these things
not
habits.
do any of it.
Yeah, if you do like 1% of it, it's pretty dang easy. Just say I'm a prepper.
I figured that out.
Yeah. But prepping
So
it-
much to do, I ain't doing it.
that's how
game.
people are sometimes. There's too much. I'm just going to sit here and watch The Simpsons.
Stress about not getting
Yeah,
it done and
exactly.
then keep doing that. Yeah.
But prepping, it's kind of it has to be a lifestyle because there's just so much to do, and some of it just needs to become second nature. So developing some good prepping habits is going to be key to becoming a good prepper,
Right.
or even a casual prepper, because we have some habits, and we say we're not solid top of the line.
It isn't our
tippy-top
everyday
preppers.
thing, and we're not pros.
But we do have some habits. And so we're going to talk about some of these things. We're not saying we do all of these, but these are some good things to get into, some habits to get formed so that you can be a good prepper, so you can be prepared for lots of different things.
Yeah.
Right?
There's, just recently, like certain things that if I had the habit of doing it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't get slapped in the face. Like we were up on the mountain,
Yeah.
and our newer pilot, it's like a 2016,
Yeah.
the battery died.
Oh.
And we were clear up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Luckily, my wife's family had a side-by-side because they could go back, but I
Yeah.
had no jumper cables in there.
Oh, man.
I
Yeah.
I have two of those battery jumpers.
Yeah.
Neither of them were in there.
Neither of them were in there.
And I'm
Yep.
just like, my habit of like,
Yeah.
I start slipping.
Exactly.
Could have died up there.
Yep. And so that's why we
somebody-
talk about
yeah.
these things.
So, yeah, we were just kind of talking about some of these habits.
Make them a habit.
One of Tawny's family shamed me.
Did he?
They're like,
Good.
oh, Mr. Prepper doesn't have any. And then somebody else in town found out about it.
That
and
feels bad.
So I'm changing my ways.
It's going to be a habit.
Yeah. Becoming a non-prepper.
Yeah.
So, first of all, is something that we all should be doing already. You should have your EDC.
Yeah.
So, everyday carry. We've had episodes on this. We bring it up in multiple episodes. It's those things that you have on you every day that are useful and could save your life.
Yeah.
So, first of all, have it.
Yeah. And
it's
that's
easy-
the habit
Right.
you got to get into, right?
And there's
Like-
some days like with dress pants and, I get ready for work and I go in and I have my backpack, but sometimes I don't have my backpack
Yeah.
and you don't have some of those EDC things. So you just got to get in the habit of carrying them in your pocket and knowing what's in your pocket.
Sure.
What's in your pocket.
What's in your pocket?
Constantly changing it up too is a good thing. Like I'll grab a different knife, or if I go up on the mountain, I'll take some different like little kits or something that I carry to see how well they work. and to learn how to use different things,
Yeah.
Because every knife, I mean, you'll find out quick which knives you're going to want to be stranded on an island with.
Yes, for
and
sure.
the ones you're not going to be going.
Yeah.
And then know your gear. Like there's a lot of little gadgets and gizmos and stuff like that. Gizmos from Gremlins, if you wonder.
For sure.
But they're kind of confusing. Some of them are really confusing on how to even use them. And some of them don't work worth a crap.
I love handing a knife to somebody and they look at it like, how do I open this? Like they're just like going, like my wife does it all the time. I love you, honey, but it's just so funny.
My wife's like, Bennett came upstairs with this knife and
How
I
do
don't
I
know how to close it.
How do I shut it?
Yep, I don't know how to close it.
Or I'll find it like on the counter open. I'm like, why is it open? I couldn't shut it.
So yeah.
So know how to shut it.
So know how to shut your own knife.
Yeah. And your own face.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'll like look into different, there's always new things coming out that are like super convenient. If you have a phone case, they have like really cool kits that go on, as your phone case, wallets and different things like that. So EDC, I think, is like, you know, as a call tag for.
Yeah, and then making it a habit. That's the thing. The way I've made it a little bit easier for myself is I have all of this stuff basically on my nightstand.
Yeah.
And so I get up in the morning, you take a shower, you get dressed, and everything's right there as you're getting dressed. So you're like, okay, I got my knife, I got my wallet, I got whatever else. It's
Stick
right
it in
there.
your bedpost.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. But just make it that habit like before you leave. And then I have like this weird thing too where as I'm leaving the house, I like tap my pockets. So like I'll tap, oh, there's my knife. Oh, there's my phone. There's my wallet. So like I do the trip tap, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There it is.
Everybody's like, Cody's got a good beat. Every time he comes out his house, boom.
I'm just checking my EDC. But again, that's just a way to make it a habit. And I've got that. It's a weird habit I have now. It's almost a tick.
Yeah.
As I'm like going out the garage, I'm like tapping all my pockets to make sure I have
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
because I always like a pen's a huge thing. Like I always need a pen.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, okay, do I have my pen? Okay.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's a good one.
Add
EDC.
to it.
Yep, for sure. The next habit is pretty crucial in a lot of different situations, and that is keeping your tank half full in whatever vehicle
Your belly.
you're driving. Yeah, that for sure. But your fuel tank in your vehicles, keeping them half full, it's so hard to do.
It is hard
because it's one of those things. It's like inconvenient. You're like, I got a half a tank. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna go home. But if you just get into the habit of thinking half is empty,
yeah,
you know what I mean, and then just filling it up at all times. So there's several reasons why this is an important habit to get into. One of those is in an emergency crisis, stopping for gas. It could mean, life or death, depending on what situation you're in. You know what I mean? If you have to stop at a gas station in the middle of an earthquake just to get home, that's a bad deal.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever it might be. If you have a half a tank, you can get home or you can get to wherever you need to without making that stop. So it's for emergency situations. It's great, obviously. And then getting fuel during or after any sort of SHTF event could be dangerous. Like you don't know. I mean, if there's riots, I don't know if you've seen some of those videos from some of these riots at the gas stations. Like guys are just pulling in to get fuel.
Oh yeah,
and people are getting harassed and beat up and stuff. So
it's happening everywhere nowadays.
It is, yeah. So if you don't need to stop at those points, you're going to be super happy that you have at least a half tank and you can just get home or go to wherever you need to.
Yeah. How many horror movies have you seen people get killed at gas stations?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
Or run out of gas. Right?
Oh yeah.
On the long, lonely highway, it happens. And again, in your everyday life, how many times have you been late somewhere and you look down,
yes,
and you're on E?
Yep.
You know what I mean? How many times has that happened? And that's not going to happen if you're in that habit of filling it up. Just fill it up when it gets to half. If you're thrust into some sort of a long-term SHTF situation, every little bit of fuel is going to be super crucial, right?
Yeah.
And so if you get
all kinds of uses,
exactly, and if you have a half a tank,
car
at
bombs,
least, yeah, exactly, have car bombs.
Yeah.
But if you have a half a tank, again, you're beginning with more. You're not like at an eighth of a tank and like crap. I got to figure out the next 6 months on an eighth of a tank.
But it is a super useful. I mean, generators and everything.
Yeah.
It's like that fuel.
It's a crucial thing. Yeah. If you get stranded in winter months somewhere or stuck, what if you only have an eighth of a tank or a 16th of a tank and you have to leave that rolling all night, idling all night to stay warm? you're going to be pissed off that you can't, or you might die. Who
Yeah,
knows?
true.
But if you have at least a half a tank, you can idle through the night if you need to. So anyways, just get into that habit of when it
It
gets
is
to
a
half,
good habit.
when it gets to half is empty. And
Yeah.
just do that on all your vehicles.
Yeah.
It's a good habit.
I'm not an expert mechanic on this, but I've understood it's easier on your gas pump,
I've heard that too,
and
actually.
it's more fuel efficient to have more fuel in your car. So
Yeah, the fuel efficiency is the other thing I've heard. Like
that's what I've heard too.
But who knows?
Who friggin' knows?
Who friggin' knows?
Maybe if going downhill, you got more weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Idle it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Another habit is keep your cell phone charged.
This is such a big deal, and it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Like everybody's like, "Oh, my phone's dead." I'm like, "It's noon.
I don't know
what
how
have you
that's
been
even,
doing?
That's what I wonder too.
What's going on?"
If you're using it that much,
then
you get a battery pack.
You're either
or a case.
You're either using your phone like way too much, or you're
need a
not
new
charging
phone.
it, or you're not charging it at night, right?
Well, modern man.
That's right.
Make sure all of his kids
Maybe
and his
their
wife's
husband,
devices.
Maybe their husband doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's
true.
He didn't charge it.
I don't
last
understand that either because it's just like,
night. Yeah,
I don't know.
it's always.
But, obviously, in any scenario, the thing you always have on you is gonna be the first thing you use to communicate with, your family and see if everybody's okay, your kids and things like that. So
you mean you don't keep your ham radio on you all the time?
no, I don't. Nope.
That's my first line. I'm a prepper. Cell phones are worthless.
What is that thing? The bail fang?
Yeah, the bail fang.
So obviously this is going to be the first device you use. You're already using it already, watching all kinds of other crap. So make sure it's good and charged and that it's going to last you more than till noon.
Yeah.
And if it isn't lasting till noon, either you get a new phone or there's battery packs that you need to have with you. Also, the phone can be used for many other things. You've got apps that you can use for different ways to communicate, not just by cell phone. Bluetooth, and then you can use the mesh system, things like that. But you also, it's an entertainment thing. Who wants to be scavenging through houses with their kid crying in the back?
You don't want to.
You don't want your baby to be content while you're looting.
That's right.
So you want to have entertainment. But really, like, as bad as it is, and everybody, shame on you for letting your kid watch. Like, it's super helpful to calm them down and have them to watch. Like, my kids have gotten woken up and worked up, like, for camping and stuff over storms, and put them in front of a screen, and they're fine.
Yep.
Then you leave them and go do your own thing.
Exactly.
Other uses, it's a flashlight that you always have on you, unless it's an old phone. You should probably upgrade.
Yeah.
And you can get a lot of EDC tools for it, or in the case. Then you've got a
Real
battery
apps.
that you can what's that?
Real apps.
Yeah.
From the New Girl episode.
The battery can be used in a real bad situation. MacGyver it up, start a fire.
For sure.
Start your car. I don't know. But you've got a lithium-ion battery that has a lot of uses. Personal information, and we'll talk about that later, of storing different things about you on there. And we'll also talk about how to keep those things safe.
Yep.
An old device can be used, again, some stuff about this later, but these old devices are just laying around. Keep them charged, turn them off, throw them in a Faraday bag, and you can use them for entertainment, or you can store books and things on them, so you have different entertainment when you're hunkered down.
Yeah.
And like I said, this doesn't, and like having battery packs and things, not only does this specifically apply to your phone charger, but like just those little things of having, making sure that things that use battery power kind of topped off and things like that.
Sure.
So,
yeah. And so, making this a habit, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, when you go to bed at night, make it a habit that your phone goes on the charger.
Right.
Like, that's the habit, right? You got to make sure it's charged. And then I even have this habit every time I get in my truck, if like in the middle of the day, if I'm driving to lunch or wherever it might be, I plug in my phone.
Yeah.
Because
well, they even have, the wireless ones, you set it down.
Yeah. The new vehicles, you just have
So
a
the
place to
wireless
set
is
it.
really nice. But yeah, it's,
You know what I mean?
why not tippy top it off?
Yeah. So just make it a habit that anytime you have the chance, plug it in and like you said, top off that battery or tip off that battery. That's what I was about to say. I don't know why. But yeah,
Time for a tip off.
Keep her charged as much as possible because you never know when you're going to go into a situation where you're not going to have time or you're going to need that battery, so make it a habit.
Yeah. We're all carrying it. Don't make it like a dead weight.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Use.
Exactly. The next habit is very tough for me. It's not something I'm very good at.
It is a hard thing.
It's so hard, but carrying cash. There's so many situations where having cash on you is obviously super important, but it's hard these days where most people just don't use cash on a regular basis. And even now, like in this COVID thing, how many places do you go to? They're like, no cash, or please don't use cash if you don't have
to. Yeah.
There's so many places. There's a lot of places in town that have that right on the window. Like, don't use cash if you don't need to. But carrying it is a super important thing for lots of different situations. So making it a habit is a really good idea. And it's hard. I don't really know what the answer is to getting into that habit. A lot of people will say when they get paid, they'll cash out, $50 to $100, and then use that for the next few weeks in cash or put those different places. But figure out how you can make carrying cash a habit, or if you just want to say, I've got this now and I'm not using it, and if I use it, I'll replace it. So it's something to think about. But
it also I think that's the other hard thing is when it's in your hand. Sometimes people tend to use it more, or it's like, oh, you're getting lunch. Well, here.
Exactly. Yeah. So make it a habit not to use it if you don't need to, and having it there when you need it. So, I mean, obviously, at the beginning of a short-term or even a long-term SHTF scenario, cash is going to be super crucial if the power is out, because ATMs and banks, you're not going to be able to get money from them, and you're not going to be able to use your bank cards and things like that, or credit cards. So, obviously, making sure you have that cash.
Give you 20 if you let me get 20 out of this ATM.
Exactly, yeah.
Turn it back on for a minute.
Exactly. So, those situations obviously is very important. Or even in your everyday life, if you forget your wallet or you for some reason you don't have your ATM card or your bank card, your debit card, having cash in a few different places is going to save your butt.
Yeah, it is.
Again, if you're not very good at keeping your fuel tank half full, you have some cash, and you don't have your bank card, at least you can get some fuel. So think about those in those everyday situations as well. So some tips on this. Keep this cash in
pun intended.
Yeah, some tips. Keep it in several different places. Have some in your wallet, in your vehicle, at your home, and all these different kits and bags that we talk about all the time. Maybe it's good to have a cache of cash somewhere, right?
Yeah.
CACHE.
Cash.
Yeah, cash. The rule of thumb a lot of websites say is have $1,000 on hand at any time. It's a lot of money.
But you don't want,
But again, if it comes down to a long-term situation and you need to,
for sure,
you're gonna be super. But again, don't put $1,000 in your wallet.
Right.
Okay, because if you lose your wallet, you're gonna be pissed. You just lost $1,000, dummy. You deserve to lose it. That's fine. If you put $1,000 in your wallet, you deserve to lose it. So focus on smaller bills, which is gonna be nice in a lot of these situations. If you have hundreds and you want to buy a pack of gum, or you need to, if it's like a $2 transaction, most people don't have $98 in cash.
Exactly.
So make sure you have smaller bills for those types of things. So think about making carrying cash a habit, a proper habit. It's a good idea.
I usually try and put it like behind the case that sits flush with my phone, because then I can't see it and I don't know that it's there.
And then
it's not as easy to use because you have to peel your whole case off.
And then if you get into a situation where you need it, you're like, oh, right, I have it back there.
So that's the only one, probably one of the only ways I've remembered to put cash in there. No, I don't have cash in my phone case.
Don't look at it.
So another tip is the grocery shopping list. So buying extra groceries while you're shopping. We talked a little bit about like having a calendar that kind of sets this out for you.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier because it's like, okay, I need to buy extra water on Monday of this week, and then tomorrow. Shouldn't be going to the grocery store that often, but it like has a plan for the week or the month. Like I've seen calendars where it's like this month work on your water supply, this month work on your food supply. So
that's an easier way to make it a habit.
I think so.
You're just saying, oh, I'm going shopping, I better look at my list. What am I getting this time?
So the monthly one probably will end up on the 31st or the 29th.
Yeah, but that's okay. At least it's getting done.
It's getting done, yeah. So one of the habits is each time you go shopping, add a little to your food storage.
Yeah.
And this can come in, it doesn't mean you need to buy a whole big old bag of grain or wheat or something like that. Just if you're buying some ketchup, realize, this is the only bottle we're going to be using. I need to buy extra.
Yeah.
Because kids live on ketchup.
They do.
Ketchup drip is what I'm planning on putting my kids on when
Ketchup
things
gas.
get bad. Ketchup bombs and ketchup gas. Simple stuff like that, like cooking oil that you don't buy very often.
Yeah.
So when you're actively using that bottle and it gets to the bottom and COVID-25 strikes, then it sucks.
You're good to go.
Because we found out that like yeast was like super popular and like, things that you just don't buy very often.
No.
Like double them up. And a calendar really is the easiest way to kind of keep track of this.
Yeah.
To know, okay, I'm not things you don't think of very often. Obviously, no one thought of toilet paper, and that's
Apparently.
why there was a toilet paper crisis.
Not no one. Some people did.
Yeah, Kobe wiping his butt and laughing.
Yeah, I did every time because it tickles a little
I'm going to
bit.
use 3.
I'm going to live stream this. You idiots.
Look at this. I got to wrap around my finger twice
Yeah.
because I can.
I'm going to burn this piece because I don't even care. It's like when they burn the
blow
$20
my
bills.
nose.
Yeah.
And my wife's going to take her makeup off with this piece. I
That's
got
right.
plenty.
Not the same piece, though. Here, honey. Take off your makeup. I just blew my nose. It's fine. That's dirt.
Don't worry about it. Been on there a while.
Yeah.
Chocolate on my mouth. So one thing is like the things that you pick up on a weekly basis, like milk and bread and chips and hot dogs,
Condoms.
maybe.
If
But
you're
like,
lucky.
we're always having you run out of milk, and so I've been looking into getting powdered milk and bread. Get
Get
ways
cow.
that you can make your own. That's like fun.
Oh,
Hot
did
dogs.
you?
If you love hot dogs every week, buy a pig.
Buy a pig.
I don't know. But like think of ways to stretch out of the stretch those things out that you're having to get on a regular basis, like too often. Because that was what I was stressed out about. I was like, I don't want to go to the grocery store, but bread expires super fast, and I didn't have yeast, and so it's like, if there's case lot sales, try to capitalize on those and buy more for less. Pay attention to expiration, and this is one big habit of getting in is like inventorying those things you're storing.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do.
It's a pain in the butt.
Especially when you haven't done it and you're trying to go back. You're
It's
like,
almost
when's this?
impossible.
September of 2026. September of,
Yeah.
So if you start when you're buying it, then you can follow and kind of keep a nice cycle going to where the ones that are going to last the longest are in the back and you're using the front first. And then don't forget non-food items, hygiene items like deodorants and soap. Like add extra. If you're using the one thing that you're buying, you probably should get 2 of them.
Yeah, so this is a habit that I've made that's actually been really easy now because we do most of our shopping like with an app, like at Walmart or something like that.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
And then you can actually just reorder the stuff you've done in the past. So you can just go through and see it. And at one point, for like toothpaste, I bought like a 3-pack. So you get 3 at a time. And so every time I need...
And it replaces it with cat food.
Exactly. Well, we didn't have that, so we ended up giving you sliced turkey.
How about Desicream?
Yeah, no, that doesn't work.
I think that's too big.
Yeah. But, it's a habit to say, instead of just buying the 1, I buy the 3 now every time. And so you have that backlog.
Yeah. That's true. That app does make it really nice to see what you've
exactly.
been getting more of and needing more of. Mm-hmm. I've slipped some 2s and 3s in there sometime. My wife's like, why do we got 2 bags of Ritz crackers? Oh,
don't know. They messed up. That's damn Waltons.
Better store them. And then another big tip is to buy what you eat. So if pig's feet are on a killer deal, don't buy them if you don't eat them regularly.
Yeah.
Like don't store what you're probably not going to eat or you're going to hate life.
Yeah. It's so true. It really is. Yeah. So just make buying extra.
Buy an extra, make an inventory.
Make it a habit. Habit.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard thing is when you say, well,
go
next
against
month,
all that says buy more than you need.
Yeah.
Go
exactly.
against the
exactly.
only buy what you need.
Mm-hmm. The next habit is something that I don't like very much, but it's very crucial if you're a prepper, or really if you're a person. If you're a person,
Or
you got to
you're
do this.
65 and older
Yeah.
adult.
Oh, gosh,
You'll do this
yes.
all the time.
Check the news. And I say this because it is a depressing notion to
really is.
freaking think about doing this all the time. But if you want to
It's all fake.
if you want to be prepared, if you want to know what's going on, and you have to if you're a prepper, you've got to stay up on everything that's going on in the world. So you kind of have to make it a habit that either every day, or maybe it doesn't have to be every day, but it has to be regularly.
Yeah.
You're keeping up on all different types of news. And the problem that I see that a lot of people do is they say, well, I'm left wing, so all I listen to is MSNBC.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's great and all, but you're only getting half the story.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've got to think about diversifying the ways you're getting your news. It's super important. So let's think about checking the news. What do you need to do? Don't just focus on world events or national events or local events. You've got to have a wide array of types of news that you're bringing in.
Yeah, I agree totally.
You gotta know what's happening locally with your whatever the hell's going on locally, but you also have to know what's going on in Russia and China and all these things, right? If you didn't know about
it, all affects everything.
Everything affects everything, right? So you need to get a mix of it all: world, national, state, local, all of those things. Having a heads up on issues or situations that are unfolding or progressing are going to be key for you to make those prepping decisions. If things are starting to look funky, that's when okay, I need to be a little more vigilant. I need to up my prepping game. So those are some things to think about it too. It could be exactly.
Start checking your pockets. Okay, I'm
Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
It may come down to a life or death situation. If you're not paying attention and there's a wildfire coming through town or a crime wave or riots and such.
There's going to be a wildfire passing through today.
Y'all listen to this crap.
Wildfire heading down
Yeah.
Highway 45 is going to be passing around.
Exactly. But you know what I mean. I
totally
You
agree.
got to keep up on those types of things.
Yeah. And I like because news, no matter where it comes from, tends to be biased.
Yeah.
So you've got to
it
get
does.
different sources.
Even the news that you're getting from us is going to be biased in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah,
even though we're
exactly.
trying our best not to be.
Exactly. I
Okay.
agree.
So don't just take us as your news source. And if you are, you're a freaking idiot. Okay. Just don't do it. I almost slipped up there. So if you want others to take you seriously, like as a prepper, because a lot of times we get a bad name, but you have to be up to date on the things that are going on in the world. So you don't want to sound like an uneducated idiot when you're talking to someone. Well, I'm a prepper because, I don't know, just cause. But if you actually know what's happening in the world and say like, well, these things are happening on an international geopolitical stage or whatever, you know what I mean? You can sound like you know what you're talking about at least.
Yeah, just throw in big words.
Yeah, big words.
Yeah, Reuters and then BBNC and then something.
BBNC.
Just mix them all together.
BBNC.
And Dateline 74 hours.
MSBBC. They told me last week.
Yeah, that's good. It's Google News,
Yeah, exactly.
Yahoo. Stuff.
So here's some quick tips. Don't ever focus on one news source. Like I said, make sure you're getting various news sources. Apps on your phone are great. That's a habit where you could just, in the mornings, you could check your app, a couple of news apps, or you can have them set up to alert you on certain stuff. I have a couple of them that do that, so it's great. Maybe flip on the news channel as you're heading to work in the car. Make that a habit, so at least you're getting those, daily updates. The habit I've gotten into is when I get out of the shower in the morning, I have like a Google Home. So I say, hey, Google, read me the news. And I have like 4 or 5 different news sources that just plays as I'm getting ready.
Yeah.
So that's just the habit that I've gotten into. And that's,
There's a hurricane. War has started.
Yeah.
Volcano has erupted. Aliens have attacked.
Earthquakes are
You're like,
rampant
holy
across
crap.
the land. But, and that's not just world news. It's local news. It's news of my industries, podcasting and film and those types of things. So
Yeah. There's always those times where you're just like burned out with it all.
There are.
You can't, you just can't cut it off. Like,
You can't.
You'll be in trouble.
you will. And
So
I've
it's
done
kind
that
of
before.
I have too.
I've done it.
I'm tired. I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, find out. All of us would like to be on a desert island.
We totally would.
Desert island.
Yeah. A desert island. Yeah. So just make it a habit to check the news and make it a habit to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah,
All right.
I agree. Amen.
Amen, sir.
Document backup. Back up your backups. Back those up. Back it all up. So
Back that ass up.
let's go into a song.
Yeah.
backing up information.
Find a
and
PDF. Want to back that shit up? I don't know.
Learn how to back your pickup up.
Yeah, this is a good idea.
A lot of people don't know how to do
They
that.
don't.
bro.
I don't want to say anything, but my wife, man, coming out of the garage sometimes, it's like she's doing like trigonometry, and I'm like, just come straight out, and you're gonna be okay.
My wife's funny that she gets all panicky about that too. She's like,
Will you back me out?
Yeah. Why?
Why? Well, your truck's on the
Well,
other
you
side.
could go forward. Yeah, seriously. Anyway, so
you,
backing up documents. Yeah,
Love you, honey.
love you too. Not your wife. I love my wife.
He
too.
loves you too, honey.
She's backed up funny.
She backed up
she
funny.
scratched up the butt. But
Scratched
as
up the
much as
butt?
I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I backed into her brother's truck at her parents.
Did
so,
you?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So
I mean,
don't
it's not awesome.
shame. It's karma.
It is.
Anyway, what I'm really getting at here is backing up your documents.
It's a good idea.
Having digital and paper copies of like the backs of your credit cards and your information, like your insurance, life insurance, all that stuff, could easily be either, cyber attack, stolen, or you lose it all in a fire or a flood. So having backups in two separate areas is really important.
I'm so bad at this.
It's super hard.
I need to make this a
because
habit.
it changes, as soon as you get it all like updated, they send you a brand new credit card.
Yeah.
And but I've had the digital copy that it's hopefully encrypted in the app, and it saved my butt. Like I'd lost my wallet, and then I had to go on Hurry and Call, and I put them all on lost or stolen.
Or you get pulled over and you're driving someone else's truck and you can pull up your insurance.
Yeah. Don't bring that up.
By the way, if you haven't yet seen our video, have we talked about this on the podcast?
We haven't.
I don't think we have.
We have a defense video.
Yeah, we did a video last
Defensive
week.
driving.
We should have been. We did a video last week on 5 self-defense tips for preppers. On the way to the gym, we got pulled over. So anyways, you can see that on the video. But it was actually really cool. It's a fun video.
It was fun.
Cam rolls for the first time
It was rough.
with a purple belt. So it's really cool to see. Go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. Anyways,
Really cool to see.
It is.
Yeah, I was stiff for a week.
Yeah.
Like
It was
just
fun, though.
weird muscles I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Inner muscles.
Yep.
But yeah, so backing up those things that you use in your everyday life to avoid losing a lot of money and then so you can cancel them, but having backups of all of your like birth certificates, things like that. Like you want that stuff to not be lost forever.
Yes.
Another thing that you can do is use an old device to store a lot of different PDFs of these things too. So you have backups of the digital copies, and then, like I said, you print them out, put them in something, and take them. Store them in either like a fireproof safe's what I do, and then you have one like a copy or something in a safe location outside of your home, and then like magazines and books and stuff can also be put on. And I guess this goes down to the skill thing, but you can back up a lot of those different like informational, like how to suture and how to take care of some of that stuff can also be backed up on PDFs and stored on devices and things like that. Books are a good backup.
Yeah. So this is hard for me to figure out how to make it a habit.
It is.
That's the hard part of it. You know what I mean?
And I guess I should have applied the whole fact that I back up my computer system and my photos.
That's a good
like
idea.
Family photos would be probably the worst thing on earth to like lose all that history.
And everything's digital now and that stuff. So.
Like I don't like or trust the cloud at all.
No.
Like it's super helpful and pretty much everything forces you to use it, but you can download all that onto a hard drive.
Yeah.
And then I store like one of those in my fireproof safe.
Yeah, it's a super good
And
idea.
I bury it 700 feet deep.
Make it a habit. Yeah. I like it. Okay, here's one that sucks. And it
does
so freaking hard, but making exercise a habit is crucial. Yeah. Staying fit, obviously as a prepper, if you get into an SHTF situation, is going to be better if you're fit going into any sort of situation like that. But it also makes your everyday life better, obviously. It's super important, but honestly, this might be the hardest one on the list to do.
It totally is.
It is so hard.
It is for me.
Because it sucks. I've gone through this so many times where I'll run, like 4 or 5 days a week, and I'll do it really good for a month, month and a half, 2 months, and then I quit, and then I don't do it for 6 months or something. Like, you get but recently, like I think about last year, I went almost a year without doing zero. Like, I seriously didn't do anything for a year.
It's pretty, and you know what that's long term. And
it's so hard.
I'm on a roll right now.
I'm just you get busy, you get lazy, you get old, so it's harder to do it. And the older you get, the more important it is that you do it. So it's like one of those things is so freaking
Just like
hard.
you just need to stay healthy.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Be no dependence on medication.
Yes.
It's huge. I see this problem all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure that you're inundated with those types of things. But to make this a habit, you've got to find something that you like to do or that you love to do, because otherwise it's never going to stick. That's
so true.
This is like, just in my opinion, in my experience, there's so many things. Like, I really envy those people who love to go to the gym, or like those people who love to run or that love to lift weights.
I do too.
Because I hate all of those things. I hate all of them.
Too. I do.
Right? And so I can't make
I
it
do
a
like
habit.
weights. Like, weights have been the thing that I've always liked. But if you don't have a partner
it's hard
to weight lift with, or have to go to a location, like doing stuff in your basement, let's be real, it's probably not going to happen consistently.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Ever.
Right? And we'll talk about that. But so why is it important? Let's talk about this for a second. Your physical and mental health rely greatly on some sort of physical exercise. I will attest to that. Like, you will feel better, obviously physically, but also mentally if you're doing exercise. It releases all those endorphins and all those kinds of things. You're going to feel better about yourself and your life and all those things. Cam can attest to how many rampant diseases these days are due to lazy ass people.
It really
just
is.
sitting on
A
their
lot of
couch watching TV.
A lot of these things can be corrected by lifestyle change.
And being healthy is actually cheaper, probably, in the end. Less visits to go see Cam, less meds, less sickness. Obviously, not to mention, if you go into an SHTF scenario with a long-term illness of some sort, that's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck.
Not gonna be fun. Being overweight is not good. Doesn't matter.
It's not.
Yeah, it's just not good. If you get into an SHTF situation, you're going to want to be fit, because you're going to have to hike or lift or carry things or run or walk or fight out of lots of different situations. And all those things require some level of fitness. So anyways, how do you do this? How do you make this a habit?
And just to comment on that, like, and it's in our video of the self-defense, like, tips and stuff. But, like, I found out, so like I said, I like weightlifting and being strong, but I don't do it in a manner that it's like, low rest and just like go to the next lift, so that I'm building up my cardio. And so it tends to be skipped. And so I rolled around with homie, Kobe's brother-in-law, that weighs, what would we figure?
145.
30.
About 30 pounds.
Yeah, 30 pounds less than me. And I felt like the first few seconds of it, and you can see I used my strength. I was kind of flipping him around. I felt like I had a little bit of control. He was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I felt like my sheer strength could keep me safe. And as soon as I lost, as soon as my cardio and my endurance was spent, he could have done anything to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There's
take
no way
long
I could have
either.
stopped him from doing anything, like to thrust a knife into my side or to just keep pummeling my face. I couldn't stop it. There's no way. I was so exhausted, in 30 seconds. And that to me was an eye opener, and it terrified me. I'm like, holy crap. One, I don't know how to fight martial arts. If somebody that knows what they're doing, they'll destroy me. And two, I couldn't hold them off for very long.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the endurance.
Yeah, the endurance is so important, man.
Freaky.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing to think about.
So
but
doesn't even matter if you with two of you that don't know how to fight. If you don't have endurance,
cardio,
you're gonna get killed.
Like, I think we talk about it in that video too. I mean, Zombieland. That's why they say number one is cardio, because cardio, at the very least, you can run away.
Exactly.
At the very least,
if you're trying to run and you're out of breath and he keeps catching up to you,
you're done.
Then
right?
They can do whatever they want to.
Yeah, you got to go check out the video, because I think it's pretty eye opening.
So exercise and health is huge, like Kobe saying.
And I got to I got to give it to Cam on that video though, because he was pretty good sport, and to be able to do that on camera,
it was an eye opener. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you do this? How do you make this a habit? In my experience,
which is the hardest part, I think.
It is absolutely the hardest part.
To keep a routine.
You will not be consistent, in my experience, unless you like what you are doing. If you hate running, if you hate lifting, I just don't think there's any way. I don't have the willpower, most people don't, to keep it consistent, right?
Right.
You have to find something that you like to do, whether that's hiking, yoga, basketball, martial arts, soccer, swimming, any of that stuff. If you make it a habit, it's like, oh, I play soccer twice a week. It's my habit. It's what I do. You know, I'm going to stay in shape. That's the only way you're going to do it. I'm going to go play pickup ball twice a week, 3 times a week. I think you're better off doing something like that instead of saying, well, I'm going to do 6 miles here.
For sure. For sure. I agree.
You're better off in the long run, I think. For me, obviously, I kind of got lucky because I found this thing, which is martial arts, which is Jiu Jitsu. I do it 3 days a week. I've been doing it, honestly, pretty consistently for about 4 months now. Or maybe
you have.
It's only
You've
been
been
3 months.
destroying it.
And I've been lucky, but I'm also killing 2 birds with 1 stone on this because I'm getting some self-defense. I'm also getting my cardio and some strength.
A ton of exercise.
Yeah, a ton of. It's like it's an insane amount of exercise. So I'm lucky because I like doing it. But the other thing is I have somebody, or I actually have several people who know when I'm not there. And when I'm not there, they're like, where the hell were you, dude?
That's true. That's awesome.
And to me, it's such a big deal for anybody trying to stay. Like, get a buddy or get a group of people, because when you're not there, they're going to text you and they're going to be like, dude, where were you? We were here. Why weren't you here? And that keeps me honest. I mean, I miss once in a while, but most of the time, like, I don't want everybody being like, you pussy, why weren't you there? You know what I mean? So get a workout buddy.
It's rare to be self-motivated.
It is. It's so hard.
Really hard to be.
Yeah. So I just think doing a variety of things, finding that thing that you really like, and being accountable to somebody or something, or even if you're just paying for whatever it is, at least you're paying for it. So you're like, I need to.
It's worth the money.
I'm paying for it. So
and that's sometimes I've used for a drive, and it does help. But you got to have the support, and
you have to.
No, I think that one's excellent. Like, super important habit to have.
Yeah, you know better than anybody being in the healthcare
not
field.
being healthy. No, I'm not.
No, I mean,
but yeah, I see it, and I see the
it.
disease, and I see the preventable problems that people have. I mean, nothing. I feel like really bad for those people that are dependent on those medications.
Yeah.
When a lot of them really could eliminate pretty much all of them if they just would change their life. Because I'm like, if we get in this scenario where it's not being produced, or you have to risk going into town to see somebody to get a prescription, or it's just
it's not
like
good.
You're not going to last very long.
No,
there's just no way.
Yep.
Speaking of not lasting very long, please never go into this thing. Did you know that during COVID, it has led to a 5-fold increase in cyber attacks, according to the WHO?
I hate people.
Yeah. And every 39 seconds on average,
Jeez.
there's a hack going on, affecting 1 in 3 Americans every year. That's
bogus.
Very many.
It's a lot of people.
But
billions and billions and
billions
of people.
Billions. But unlike the coronavirus, there's a solution to this problem, and I'll tell you how to do it.
Okay.
Surfshark VPN can protect you and every one of your devices from online threats. Go gray man online. Shield your information from websites and other online services. No longer worry about malware, phishing, obnoxious and often unsafe ads that you accidentally click. You're waiting for a video. Takes you to some other site. You can get rid of all that crap if you use Surfshark. Also, Surfshark not only protects you, but you can use it to go and watch Netflix in the UK from the comfort of your own home.
Beautiful.
So basically, it will put you can connect to any server in any country. They have like 160 something plus servers that you connect to. So it cloaks your IP address. They don't know where you're at. One subscription covers every single device you have, which that to me is the biggest thing. Is like you only have 3 devices you can use this on. No, bull crap.
That's one of the things that kind of sets Surfshark apart from a lot of the other ones.
And I just saw recently CNET did a list of top 5s, and Surfshark is in there.
Beautiful.
Fast, unlimited access, 24/7. And the thing I like the most is they will let you try it for 30 days and give your money back.
That's awesome.
Because nobody really knows how these work. If you don't use them, you don't really understand it.
Yeah.
Theirs is super clean, really easy interface. In 30 days, if you don't like it, you just get your money back.
Beautiful.
So go to Surfshark. Go to surfshark.deals/casualpreppers and enter our promo code casualpreppers. It'll give you 83% off. I just tried it last night.
Nice.
3 extra months. That'll get you, basically that's a cost of $221 a month, or you can just pay 60 or basically $60. $59.76 will give you 27 months. And these things, when they take off and they become more prevalent and there's more hacks, like this price isn't going to last.
It's going to get
it's going to get more and more expensive. There's going to be probably a tighter subscription. So I'm telling you, go get it.
Yeah.
And then they have their hack lock that protects your email. It's now called Surfshark Alert.
Oh, beautiful.
It's 99 cents a month more, but
Nice.
it's totally worth it because it just emails you when somebody has taken your email or breached a site that has your email information.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
go
there you
check
go.
out Surfshark. Make it a habit.
Yep.
Make it a habit.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, make it a habit. Surfshark, make it a habit.
So one thing we talk about too a lot in as a prepper, and we've talked about this like the riot episode and self-defense, is having situational awareness.
Yeah.
So, and this doesn't mean to go get those sweet little glasses that have the little mirrors on the sides. They are cool.
Super
but
cool.
That's not exactly what this means. It just means know your surroundings, know the area you are in, basically understand the level of difficulty it'll be to get out or to, protect your family, support obstacles that may get in the way, exit locations, and different contributing factors. So, and I've tried to do this more like when I'm in like a mall or something. I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, so what if there's a shooter?
Yep.
Or
I think about that all the time.
I'm like,
too. It's
how am I going to get out of this situation? And I think as a prepper, you really need to make the habit of every place you go, no matter if it's like a church house where you feel like you're protected. We see that crap. People going in and shooting.
Restaurant.
You've got to like think of how you're going to get out of it, and then it also applies to like those people around you who's going to lose their freaking mind and be more of a hindrance and danger to you. So you've got to like assess the whole area that you're in and plan on like the worst happening. You can relax and do this. Like I don't feel like I'm paranoid.
I'm not like you're not taking notes when you walk in, like and drawing maps.
Down on aisle 845, there's a back door.
Yeah.
Okay. But you just need to be aware of the situation you're in, and if things were to hit the fan, then you need to know how to get out of it and how to safely get out of it and avoid, getting into like, what if you walk into the middle of a riot? We've talked about that. Like, get your hook hand on, grab up your microwave, get on out.
Yep. I like it.
And this is something that's there's a lot of different skill to this. Like it applies to a whole different.
We need to do a full episode on it.
We really do, because there's a lot of aspects of this that you kind of have to go into detail. But like look it up and understand what I mean with the situational awareness. Basically, to sum it up, it's just being aware of your surroundings and how to get out and be safe about it. So.
Yeah, love it. That's a good habit to get into. This next
like right
one,
now, I'm gonna not get through that curtain
right out the studio
and be stuck.
Yeah. This one is kind of a weird one. I didn't know if I was going to put this in here or not, but make it a habit at the change of each season to do certain things.
Yeah.
Basically, so 4 times a year, even if it's twice a year, you can probably make this work, but just make this a habit. So do these things kind of at the change of the seasons. Update your bags and your kits. We talk about this a lot going into the winter, updating your bug out bags and your EDC kits and your vehicle kits for the winter, because, it depends on where you live, obviously, but it's going to be cold, so you're going to need some cold weather gear. You're going to need stuff to get, out of, if you get stuck in the snow, all those types of things. So update those kits, make it a habit when that happens. And also at the change of the seasons, look at, checking and changing your batteries on smoke alarms and CO2 detectors and those things in your house, because that could be life-ending thing if you're not making it a habit to check, right?
Yeah, I had to change 2 batteries in a matter of 2 weeks in my vehicles because they weren't holding a charge.
Really?
And it's like, how would that be like up on the mountain, or if you're bugging out and your battery it'd be terrible. So
it'd be super bad.
Yeah, you got to check up on that stuff.
Update and review emergency plans. Those are a good thing to do at the change of the seasons. Tune up your vehicles and kits, just like Cam was saying. Like if you're doing that,
chip your Power Max.
Exactly.
Power Max. Power Stroke.
Power Max.
Your Duramax and your Power Truck and Power Stroke.
And something that Cam talked about earlier too is your food and water inventory. Check it at the change of seasons for outdated items and things that need to get cycled through that maybe haven't been.
Yeah.
Because the more you do that, the better off you are. Because you have a better view of what you have and what's getting out.
My parents have always like stored food and water, and that when I was at their house like not too long ago, I was like just kind of looking.
Yeah.
And like there's stuff from like 1975
Exactly.
and stuff. I'm like, ugh.
Let's get rid of this, Dad.
You're wasting shelf space here.
Yeah, Ashley's grandma does the same thing. So you could, to make this habit easier, put it on your calendar on your phone. Set aside a day, like 2 or 3 times a year, where you're just going to do it. On a Saturday or something, a day off. So just think about making that a habit. The change of seasons do all these types of things.
Amen.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I like with the battery thing, and I've started to work into. I think I posted today about it, where I'm starting to apply winter preps coming up like early, because you never know. We got a freaking storm just recently. We went from 97 degrees on Sunday to 2 days later.
Yeah.
We dropped below freezing.
But it's so insane, dude.
It's like
it was bonkers.
Yeah, and there was snow. Like people that were going through the mountains, like hit like inches of snow. It's just you never know.
Fetus snow.
Fetus.
Remember that?
Earth gives us some fetus snow now.
Fetus snow.
So financial habits. We had a financial episode just recently. You should listen to it.
You should.
I recently listened to Dave Ramsey's book on and I honestly felt like we followed along pretty well. And I hadn't listened to that beforehand. But really for a prepper, I think the number one focus should be your emergency fund.
It's a good idea.
Because get that ready, get that cushion that can protect you and your family and be able to pay for things if you lose your job or if you're incapacitated, you're injured. All of this applies outside of just prepping. It's just like you have that cash to keep your family safe, to buy the things you need to stay alive, and not put a burden on somebody else to take care of you.
So how do you make that emergency fund like a habit? Like, is it just like each month contributing to it until it gets to a certain point?
I think that's the best way to do it, because like we'd put in there for emergency fund is to like aim for $500, but then you need to assess your monthly expenses and be able to work your way up to that. So I would say instead of putting that little bit into the savings account, build that whatever that cash is, and even if you're saving $10 or $20 a month. Just slowly and build that up
for sure
as fast as you can, but as you don't want to strain yourself completely. But I would put aside expenses that are unnecessary. If you have to cancel Netflix, if you have to cancel just to build it up, and then you can buy those things or resubscribe, but you have a cushion.
Yeah, and I've done it where I make it a habit. Like every time I get paid, this goes into this account. This goes into like either like my stash investments. And this goes into here, and you just make it a habit. When you get paid, boom, 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 those go, and then you don't worry about it. Right?
There's a lot of books out there, and it always ends up being the same thing: is pay yourself first, because like that money that you get. It's like, this is my money, and you're paying for your power bill. You're paying for your house. You don't leave any for you, and so saving it for you and building that emergency fund. That's great. Like you said, is just to put a little bit of weight in specifically for emergency fund.
Yep.
And that we've talked about that too. You don't want to put it where you can't get it in you have to wait 24 hours to get it.
Yeah.
You really would like to have it somewhere that's accessible right away.
Sure.
Several places in your house or whatever. Or outside your house and outside your house. Meet with your financial advisor is actually a good thing to do regularly, because I felt like I was in a pretty good place. I'm like, well, some of the stocks I have are doing well, and and I'm working on my debt. And then after I went over it with an advisor, I was like, I suck.
Yeah.
So you need to do that. You need somebody else to look at it, and they give their perspective, like, you're not doing as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
And then the other big thing is pay your debts down. Don't get into more debt, and especially don't get into debt trying to prepare for World War III.
Yeah.
Don't spend a lot of money and buy a bunker and get into debt to prep. That's terrible. That's completely opposite of what we're wanting you to do.
Yes.
You can do both. Just slowly, just start building on them. And then don't blow all your money on expensive tactical gear, ammo, knives, bunkers. There's different things that you can learn to do and use that would work just as well. And then consider at that point, once you have those other things, your emergency fund set up and you're paying down your debt, then you can get into buying more of those things and looking at barter items.
Yeah.
Items that like coffee and stuff like that maybe you don't drink, but is going to be a valuable thing to trade for and trade with. But Anyways, check out our financial episode. I think it kind of goes over all these things pretty clearly.
That's great. Yeah, the financial habits are a huge deal.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
And it really is a baby step.
So this next one is a little bit abstract, and again, I didn't know if I was going to do this one either, but I think it's important, and it's a habit that will really help you in your life, and that is being positive and being grateful, and it's really hard to do. And maybe you wouldn't expect to hear this on a prepper podcast, but I think it's something as a prepper that is actually even more important for me.
No, I think it's good to put it in here because I'm like, I'm fed up with people.
Yeah, for sure. And
I
it's
was
hard.
just complaining today about stuff.
It's so hard. It's so hard when you're a prepper because you're always thinking about these things that are kind of doom and gloom and the bad stuff that could happen or that is happening and why you need to be ready for it. So it's hard not to be negative. It's hard not to be a pessimist. But
really hard.
But if you can change the way that you see things and you can be positive and you can be grateful, you're going to be a better prepper in the end. Yeah. In any survival or any SHTF situation, your mental outlook and your view, if you're positive, you're going to do a lot better no matter what.
Yeah.
If you're looking at every situation on the bad end and you're pessimistic and you're negative, it's going to affect your morale, your group's morale. You're not going to be able to be a very good leader. So,
and I've been like totally into these survival books. A lot of them's like naval survival because I listen to like the expeditions down into the South Pole and the North Pole.
Yeah.
None of them, like all of them, are like extremely optimistic.
Yeah.
Like
because you'd have to be.
And either the pessimists were such dicks that they didn't let books get written about them, but I'm pretty sure they just didn't make it.
Yeah, they just didn't make it.
They really are. Like the Unbreakable one, the World War II, like the ones that were captive and everything, they were all like, they just kept positive. And, and it's really hard. And I get super negative. And
it's so hard. And I think...
And it's easy to be.
And it's not like a thing that you could just flip a switch when the time comes.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh, this is a good.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to be positive now. You know,
some people accused me that when the pandemic started, they're like, well, not everybody's like you and like is happy about being hunkered down. I'm like, I'm not. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think some of the people that like to be at home were a little happy about some of it. Yeah.
But I wasn't like,
but you can't, you need to make it a habit because flipping that switch in a crisis is going to be really hard.
Right.
So what are some tips to do this? Some of this is pretty woo-woo, like new age, like, okay, but think about it. Reframe your challenges, make them something that you kind of want, like accept the challenges, have fun with them, make them kind of adventures. This is hard, so good luck with that. I don't know how you're going to do it, but think about it. Get a thick skin. That, Cam and I know this very well from doing a podcast for so long.
From day one. People love to just freaking hammer you behind the keyboard.
And the more you can learn to let it just sort of fall off your back and just say, I don't care. I'm gonna take this as a challenge, and you're gonna be so much better. You're gonna be. It's just try not to complain.
Right.
This almost never helps. I can't think of a situation where complaining is actually gonna help.
It never helps.
But
sometimes it feels good.
It does.
But then you feel like crap.
That's what I said here. Once in a while, you have to vent. Right?
You do.
Just don't make it a daily habit of waking up and complaining about stuff.
Yeah.
And especially when you get into a crisis, complaining is a worthless thing. Like, it's not going to help.
Yeah. You're going to change.
I hate pandemics. The pandemics are stupid.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You're going to die.
Yeah.
So you have to look at
I see some useful protests, but there's some that I'm like, what is your point?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Do you even have a goal of what you want this to do, or are you just bored?
So
complaining's kind of that same way.
How do you look at things on the bright side? Like, how do you become grateful?
What did you text me today?
I don't know. What did I text?
Remember, I was like, I'm gonna put that in my rooms.
Oh yeah.
I was complaining about something to Kobe, and he said,
I don't remember what I said actually.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Okay. Yeah, so there's some things that you can make habits that will help you like reframe these types of things. One of the things that my wife really likes to do with my family is at night, sometimes when we're having dinner, we do 3 good things. Everybody has to say 3 good things that happened in the day.
Yeah.
You don't
my wife's tried.
And you just kind of go through and do that. So that helps.
My stomach didn't hurt as bad.
Yeah. I didn't want to die at school. It's great. Avoid negative people. Obviously, this is a thing that will help you. Stress relief is super key. Find something that relieves your stress. Do it often. Make sure, because stress is not going to help you with a
Did
positive
I, like,
outlook.
archive yours? I did somehow.
Did you prick? Make it a daily habit to find something.
Colby said, "Deal with your life."
Oh, deal with your life. Yeah, deal
See
with
how
your life.
positive he is?
Super positive. That's what it was.
Because he told me there was no water here
Yeah.
at the studio to drink, and I said, "Well, this day keeps getting better and better." And he's like, "Well, deal with your life."
Deal with your life.
Cody's a motivational speaker.
Yeah, that should be me.
Yeah.
Make it a daily habit to find something to be grateful about. Seriously. There's a bunch of apps that can help you do this. I actually use the 5-minute journal app, which is super helpful with it. Just find something that helps you to think about, like, oh, there's good things. It's not all doom and gloom. It's not civil war coming all the time. You know what I mean? Think about the good things.
The journals really are like super helpful. They sound so cheesy and so like corny and like
Yeah, they do.
Anne Frank. But honestly, like even these survival books that I've been reading, they like journal every day. They're like today's same crappy storm.
Yeah.
But that's like probably the best way to
Get it
one of
out.
the best ways to vent and not really impact the people you're with.
Yeah, it's so true.
So.
But make it a habit. That's the hard thing because I'm not super consistent with it.
No,
but if you
it's
make it
super
a
hard.
habit, it's really good. So, anyways, make it a habit to be positive, grateful, and you're going to be better as a prepper.
Right. And then 2 is 1 is none. Kobe's nice little phrase. It's all over, but have a backup plan. And this is like a backup of all things that you're preparing. Like you got your nice little food and water storage down in your basement, but what if your house starts on fire?
Yeah.
Like you've got to have these other these backup plans. And we talk about this too a lot with bugging out. You've got this plan to go up in the mountains to the cabin, all your stuff's up there, a panquake, and you get a split in the road, and then they quarantine and they keep you from leaving town. Like you've got to have all these different backup plans. So it's always good to think beyond your main plan of whatever opposite, whatever way you've got to change it up and do something different. And that helps you to prepare gear different. It helps you to collect different things that are going to be useful for your plan B or C. Prepare your vehicles in a different way. And so you have to just kind of look at having a backup plan for all things, 2 different ways to approach every scenario.
And make it a habit. Like anytime, like, oh, we got this plan. Well,
okay, what if that falls through?
Yeah,
or what if
like
this
the habit is you always have the next plan, right?
Yep.
And so that's really
and it's
good to
kind of
look
part
at.
of like the situational awareness too. It's where it's like you're like trying to figure out what if this changes and my plan goes. Yeah, you got to have a backup plan.
I like it. This next one I think is good for everybody, but
Learn to read.
Learn to read. Make it a habit. Reading and learning as a prepper, I think, is a good thing, as well as just a person. If you make this a habit, you're going to be better all the way around. If the more knowledge you get, obviously, you're going to be a better prepper, a better person. And reading is one of the best ways to accumulate any type of knowledge. So it's a great skill and habit to get into, especially if you get into a point where you don't have any electricity. You get into an SHTF scenario and you already are in a habit of reading all the time. Like, oh, frick, that's not that big of a deal. I'll just read more, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that's going to help you. There's so many benefits that science says you're going to be smarter. Obviously, preppers, non-preppers, you're going to make more money, more friends. And all those things are good for preppers.
Language.
Diseases. Language.
Just be able to speak English, which I fail at.
It also relaxes you. It's a good anxiety relief. It's a sleep inducer, especially some books.
Like scripture.
Like scriptures. Also, depending on the books you read, you can gain a lot of skills and knowledge from it as for prepping type purposes. So, and we actually did a prepper book list recently on the website. So go check that out.
Yeah, like you said, in the different scenarios that you see and how people handle them, it gives you way better ideas.
Absolutely. It's so true. And then on the learning side, not just reading, it's also just learning. Make it a habit to be constantly learning new things. That could be skills, ideas about different types of situations, like Cam said. And you guys, you know what? You're all doing it right now. You're listening to the podcast. You're learning new things. Well, hopefully you are. You might not be. But make it a habit every Thursday. Download the podcast because this is going to help you. As a habit. YouTube subscriptions, make it a habit to go check out one video a week or something, or in the morning when you're taking a dump, whatever it is. But make it a habit to learn. You're going to be a better prepper for it.
Exactly.
So
not all entertainment, okay?
It's not.
You can kind of combine the two like we do.
Exactly.
We do a great job of it, right?
We do. Yeah. Good job, Cam.
Prepper hobbies. No prepper group wants a one-trick pony.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
I think they would take you as a one.
Maybe they want a 2-pump Charlie, 3-pump Charlie.
Maybe.
So, if you're good at firearms, great. Don't stop there. Like, learn how to use pistols. Have you ever seen Quigley Down Under?
I have.
He knows how to use both.
He does, yeah.
Good ham radio. If you know how to do and use it, good. Send me an email. Talk to me about how to learn how to do it.
Exactly.
And it's just good to be constantly learning, like you said. Like books, like these different survival books that I've been reading, or the different fantasies of different scenarios that could happen. It just opens your mind up to the ways that you just don't normally think that way, and you have to learn different ways to prepare for different scenarios. Like this year, I bought a pistol and I started shooting it, learning how to use a pistol.
Yeah.
I attempted martial arts, and that was rough.
Yep.
But it opened my eyes a ton to not only needing to know martial arts. Yeah. Learned how to tie my shoes and poop standing up. You never know what kind of skills you can learn out there. But it helped me to like realize where I'm lacking.
Yeah.
Not just that I don't know martial arts, but that if I got in some kind of physical altercation, I would be screwed.
Yeah.
Because I'd just run out of breath and be like, you know what? Choke me out.
Never mind. I'm done.
Kill me.
Yep.
And then there's a ton of different prepper skills that are spread all over on the internet. And like most of them are pretty quick reads. Like,
Sure, yeah.
you just read through like Survival Sullivan. He has great stuff. And like Gray Fox or whatever that one is, or
Gray Wolf Survival.
Gray Wolf Survival. There's a lot of easy ones to just check out and read. The other thing is different habits and things you want to learn. Like I just recently got a book on tying knots, and, and like I actually got kind of into it, and I was showing one of my boys, and he got into it too, tying different things. We learned how to tie a cross because that's important
For sure.
but like how to pack different things by tying different knots. So
For sure, yeah.
we made something like a skill that I always hated in scouts. I'm like, I don't want to learn how to freaking tie knots.
Yeah.
But to make it fun and show how you can use it.
Yeah.
And to actually apply those skills is huge. Like when you go camping, I always take a different item that we've, been given to review, and I try and use it and see how well it works, if it's useful, if it's something I would carry with me. And then recently I've been working on like my bug out vehicle and figuring out ways to make it, more efficient, safer, last longer, use less power. So it's just, you got to constantly be trying new things and practicing new things and reading. There's a lot of information that we have accessible now. So there's no reason why not to just pick up some skills here and there.
Yeah, just make it a habit that's part of, your hobby is doing those types of things. And when you have a hobby like that, the habit's easy.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
So
But
love it.
That's it.
Those are the habits, guys. There's a lot of habits. And
I've got so many bad habits
I do too, yeah.
that it kind of outweighs all these.
Here's a habit. Today's podcast is brought to you by Tack. It's been a habit for a long time on this podcast, but the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. You'd use code Casual Preppers and get a free separate bag sent of EDC gear along with your first month's Tack Pack. Head to tackpack.com, use our code Casual Preppers, and if you love ARs, you're going to love Tack Pack, so go get it.
Yes.
So let's move on to a couple reviews that we have real quick. Cam, we got the latest Battle Box Mission.
They got a nice little booklet.
67, yep. They have new booklets these days. They're moving up in the world. Mission 67, the first item in the box is the Tack Concealment Holster. So this is a little holster that you can actually like tape up, or screw up like underneath a... Screw up. It's this right here.
Well, you done screwed that
Yeah,
up.
screwed that up. You could put it like under a desk or a table or a
that's
chair
cool.
or something, and you keep a gun under there.
Oh, that's
somewhere.
sweet.
Yeah.
I love having guns at work.
I do too. The next one is the Grenade Soap Co. Microfiber Travel Camping Towel with Storage Bag.
Smell it.
Yeah.
Smell good.
So sometimes you forget about having a towel when you go places.
yeah.
In this one,
Yeah,
you
a
can
lot.
throw in
A lot.
Mm-hmm. Southern Survival Glow in the Dark Reflective 550 Paracord.
Can't ever have too much paracord.
Can't have too much paracord. You just can't. The Grenade Soap Co. Mavericks soap. I love getting these because then I just throw them in my hygiene kit in my preps.
That's strong. But
Yeah.
It smells good.
It does. What is
It'll
it?
definitely take the stink off
Oh, for sure.
or block it. It may
Yeah,
just
block it one other way.
override it.
The Biofilm Defender H2O. This is great for long-term water storage.
This stuff's freaking
It's
invaluable.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're storing any type of water for long-term, these things are great just to make sure you're not worried about anything happening. So,
Nice.
Pure Pollination Heirloom Vegetable Seed Variety Pack.
It's in a
freaking sweet.
Capri Sun pack.
It is, yeah. Just popped a straw
40
in there and
seeds.
go.
That's crazy.
And it has little packets in there.
Swiss
each type.
chard, eggplant, collard, and peppers.
Beautiful stuff. And then the Pro Box, you got the Solo Stove Light. Yeah, cool little personal stove.
That is nice.
It's almost like a rocket stove. Those things are cool.
Yeah, they just make like cooking up because getting a fire roaring and then trying to stick something in there to boil
Pain in
is
the
a
butt
pain in the
sometimes.
butt.
And then the Pro Plus knife of the month is the Revo Knives Ness CF Carbon Fiber First Release.
Oh, dang.
$110 value for that, so
That's pretty freaking sweet.
beautiful. So there you go, Battle Box. Well done.
Wow.
Good job.
Nice.
Battle Box. So use our code Casual Preppers for Battle Box. The next thing we have to review is the Going Gear EDC Club. And they got a cool item this month that I really like.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with.
I like
stuff.
they have a variety of stuff with these. So the first item is, I don't have the thing here, but you have this flashlight.
Let me tell you what it is. It's Immolant LD70. Small in size, but packs a ton of power with a maximum output of 4,000 lumens.
The thing gets so freaking
Holy
bright,
crap.
dude. It gets way bright.
It's waterproof, up to 2 meters, built-in battery, magnetically rechargeable. Wow! Oh my gosh! Destroyed
so
my one
bright,
good
dude.
eye. That's a $60 value.
Yeah, it's cool.
Wild card by Zootility Tools.
So it's like a little.
That's this thing, huh?
Yep, right there.
Oh, nice. It's almost it's like a little credit card sized knife and multi-tool.
Very cool. So check out the Going Gear EDC Club.
Cool.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
Do you want
All
to
right.
talk about the Mamu real quick since we're here?
You tell me.
This knife.
Yeah.
So
So
we
look
did-
at this big old beast. If you're looking at the YouTube video. So this is, you probably know more about it, Kobe.
It's a knife. Sniper Blade Works has a Kickstarter going
This
for
is
these
a
suckers
beast
right now.
of a freaking
It is a beast of a knife. I mean, it is one of the beefiest knives I've ever actually used.
Yeah.
So
you
it's-
will break your arm off before
yeah,
you actually
probably
break the
cut right
blade on
through a
this.
femur in one
You
freaking
could.
swoop.
It's like a borderline machete, but
Yeah.
way more compact.
So, anyways, go check them out. SniperBladeWorks.com, I believe, is what it is. But this is a really cool knife.
That is a
anyways,
cool knife.
Yeah, quick and dirty, Cam.
Yeah, so this is a dirty one.
Is it?
It's constipation.
Ooh.
So
That's
been
bad.
dealing with this with my son, not me, okay?
Okay.
And it can give you like tons of mixed symptoms like nausea and upset stomach. You feel gassy, you feel like abdominal pain. And I see a lot of people for this and a lot of kids, obviously. And because there's like, I don't know what's going on and what's all these symptoms. It seems and it looks really bad. And then you get an x-ray and it's obvious that
It's a lot of
they're just built up a big old poop snake in there. So, I just want to talk real fast about ways and things over the counter that you should have in your kits to kind of combat constipation. We always talk about diarrhea because it's a lot riskier because dehydration, all that. But constipation can really mess your life up.
It could be painful, man.
Super painful. So one thing is that patients should be advised to defecate after meals. So if you're trying to get in a habit of like trying to not be constipated,
Proper habit. Poop.
One, you should understand that if you don't have a bowel movement every day, it doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. It's common too, but it's not like things are going wrong if you don't. So that's kind of a misconception. But try and go poop after you eat because that's usually when your colon is most active. And then in the morning, obviously, is a good time to try and go poop. So to try and keep things regular, do that. The second best thing is to add fiber to your diet if you're not eating enough, and we normally are not eating enough. You can just get like Benefiber and all those other fiber supplements to add to, and it just helps like mucus secretion and pulls water in and just helps you to have a nice, pleasant poop.
Good.
And that's one of the best things on earth.
Oh, it
a
is.
nice,
Not much better.
yeah. If you're still having issues, you go to the Osmotic Agents, the ones that kind of pull water into your bowels and help loosen things up. Miralax is the most common. Goes by polyethylene glycol, which sounds like jet fuel. So get you some Miralax. I would have a bottle in it in my prep supplies for sure.
That's a good idea.
Because the dosage the powder can be given to kids and adults. It's not a whole lot different for like your kid's size and everything. You can give the full capful, and you can even get the liquid form. And then if it's still an issue, then you move to like the laxatives. So stimulant laxative that you can get over the counter. Senna is over the counter. Senecot. They They basically just kind of stimulate and they help to loosen things up, obviously. But you can get them. You can get a suppository over the counter. You can get an enema. You can get the oral. Like a lot of people buy like the DocuSate, which is that's a little cap stool softener, generic Equate ones, and they're probably the least effective of all of them.
Oh, really?
They're a surfactant, so they kind of try and make the poop tissue, like the surface of the poop, a little softer. All these other ones are using your colon to just pull water in or make it more mucousy and just to help you to poop better. This one basically just kind of softens your poop, so it's the least effective of all of them. But it's not bad to have all of them because they're all over the counter and they're cheap.
Yeah.
So, anyways, those are just some
That's a good
basic
one.
things that I would have to combat the old constipation.
Good job. I like it. Well, thank you, guys. That's Prepper Habits. That's Constipation. That's everything.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm constipated after this
Yeah.
episode.
Woo-wee.
A lot of info.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. We can't thank you enough. We appreciate you guys downloading and subscribing. Please go check out the new video on the YouTube
Yeah, you
channel.
should. I
It's
think
really
it's
cool.
totally worth it. You get some good skills.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably do some more
See
in
me
the
get
future.
my butt kicked.
Yeah,
And then
it's
learn
worth
some
it.
skills from people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think we should do another one in the future with some more tips
I
for
do too.
self-defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a really good time. All right, guys, thank you, and stay survived.